Hello again. This time, if you saw my first video, I had a very short cord. This time, I have a longer cord. If you've made it through my first video, chronicling my psychedelic journey, then you will have most likely have taken notice of the more spiritually centered focus of my life experiences. I will be totally upfront here. It's not going to change and most certainly will intensify as I go forward. I want nothing to do with any recreational aspects of chemical intoxication. To be perfectly clear, I strive to not live a foolish life and will encourage all to seek a sober progression to their awakening. With that said, I do feel psychedelics have a place of service when properly used. The benefits of temporary ego disillusionment can never be overstated. They also provide, provide a brief release of body consciousness and the false concept we are the flesh. There are particular reasons why sobriety is critical to real and lasting progress. Number one, your body is a gift, a divine gift, a temple to temporarily house the most precious part of creation, an entity of free will. Free will is the only creative expression and expansion of creation. The body is also a responsibility. It is given into your stewardship. A side effect of the awakening process is it can become self-luminous, a proof of very high attunement. Does one who respects this gift shove toxins, factory-made foods, or release energetic emotional tirades in it? Probably not. Number two, we need a clear baseline. The body is also a recording device of sorts. It shows the world our mental states, burdens, emotional effects, struggles, as well as our progress in the light. One's eyes are doorways into the soul, and one's mental states are easy to read in them. As we clean up our karma from this and previous incarnations, tensions and problems release from the body. Disease in the form has many causes. We are 100% responsible for all of it, because we have either held wrong concepts about life, entertained destructive emotional states, toxified it with substances, or due to karmic law, required an embodiment with predetermined physical detriments. We actually choose our parents and place of embodiment as well. We decide this based on factors that will provide the best opportunity for our growth. Life is always perfectly just. With all of this said, I will share something I hope you will find interesting or maybe even encouraging. I witnessed a child of light override everything I just stated. I spoke with, studied, meditated, and considered my teacher a man who, by all appearances, was fouling his body. This dear brother, who was old enough to be my grandfather at the time, chain smoked, drank cola, smoked herb all day, every day. He looked homeless, owned a single pair of torn jeans and 2 shirts. He slept on a bare, dirty mattress on the floor of a 10 by 12 concrete block room. He walked barefoot everywhere, even in the dirty streets of the small jungle town in Chiapas, Mexico, where I found him. He sat in a wicker chair that I was certain would collapse at any moment. And yet, he was the closest thing to divinity I had ever come across. Excuse me. It still touches me quite a lot. My 7-year quest and thirst for truth, starting at age 14, had led me to this individual. The moment I first spoke to him, I knew on the inner he was more than the appearance let on. Somehow, his own quest for the truth of life was great enough and sincere enough that life had found him worthy. Worthy to wield our inheritance responsibly. In my time with him, I witnessed him never lack for anything. He always had what he wanted or needed. He radiated joy, love, and wisdom beyond this world. When he would answer my deepest and most sincere questions, it was like receiving an answer direct from the divine. His answers were always perfect, direct, and so powerful at times that it triggered actual revelation to occur within me. Meaning, insights of truth so powerful that I left my body several times, witnessed entire scenes of history play out, or had irreversible progress occur for me. He told me once that for these things to happen between two parties, it requires the full inner commitment from both. He called it perfect questions, perfect answers. Now, later in life and after 27 years of processing the experience, I see it like an electrical circuit. You can touch a power wire and receive no shock or energy flow. But if you touch the ground or neutral wire at the same time, current will flow. Any normal person could poke and prod this man with insincere or inane questions and get nothing. But anyone with an unquenchable thirst for truth completed the circuit. Power flowed, and so did the answers about reality. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. I, for one, took these statements to heart early in my life. I figured the one who spoke these may have known what he was doing. Life wants its children to awaken, and will move heaven and earth to make it happen when the search is sincere. My deepest desire was to witness someone do something extraordinary, like we read about Jesus, some instantaneous healing mainly. I wanted to see a demonstration of things spoken about by mystics from ages past. I learned these things also require sincerity, for pearls should not be cast before swine. It was a day like most others. We had walked into town for a meal at lunch. The only meal he ate, really. And as usual, he always had money to pay without ever going to the bank in the month I was in his constant presence. And again, as usual, we walked slowly back to his place. Him always off the sidewalk, barefoot at the street's edge. A steady stream of one-way traffic came towards us. Downtown Palenque. As we neared a side street, I noticed a small, scruffy dog dart right into the street. Within a moment, it was clearly in the process of being run over by a VW Beetle. It was as if time suddenly slowed. I was able to perceive the whimper of the dog as the wheel began its crushing pressure. No! It was spoken in a tone of absolute authority. Like I have never heard from a person since. Instantaneously, a column of white light beams down upon the scene. Very quick, and just as quickly vanished. But a residual shockwave of sorts pulses out through town, and too is gone in a flash. But accompanying that light is a very discernible joyous love, permeating everything it passes through. And the dog is now 8 feet away on the sidewalk in which I stand. After a moment of stunned silence on my part, trying to process what I had just witnessed, I turn to my benefactor who was slightly behind me and say, "You did that?" In both question and statement. He stood there looking a bit like Gandalf, as he does, clutching his hand to his heart with a single tear in his eye, and like a completely humble child says, "That would have broken my heart." The locals just stared. We moved on. So to circle back to my original statements and their importance, I stand by them. But through this detour, I wanted to be completely forthcoming. The poisons of this world can be neutralized to some degree if tremendous advancement is made. But for those of us not there quite yet, better play it safe. My experiences with this brother were completely sober and a testament to just applying what mystics the world over had been saying for millennia. Nothing new, really. The old ways still work. Always will. The main concern I see in these current times is half-awakened individuals getting caught up in all manner of ephemeral distraction. There is nothing meaningful to one's progress to be had by researching things like past lives, alien presence, Anunnaki, lizard people, this, that, or the other celestial entity, or a myriad of other things. Remember this: free will, being the paramount principle throughout creation, is universally consistent. No other part of creation may interfere with the progress of another world. So if something is here demonstrating higher technology, it's always been here. It is from here, and here for our benefit. Let it be. Go within. Avoid relying on any physical objects like a security blanket. Just deeply understand that everything you need to know is already within you. Every one of your experiences from past lives is represented and manifests in you this very moment. You have everything you need to face any situation at all times. You have within every tool, every capacity for greatness. We are like flowers getting ready to bloom. Focus on blooming. Let the birds, bees, and bugs around you go about their business without being distracted. When you bloom, all will be known without the coloring of human ignorance. This is the way of wisdom. Distractions and ego traps abound in this world and often take on the appearance of enlightened content. Humanity has long had a masterful talent of twisting simple truths, slight word substitutions, and obscuring reality with so-called science. That is the easiest way in which those making progress get ensnared. The most critical component to guaranteed trap-free progress is to be anchored irreversibly. By this I mean achieving enough discipline to receive permanent connection to your inner guide. This guide has always spoken, but few listen. Silence, stillness, and going within will help you reconnect. Once strong enough, you will hear and be guided by it unerringly for the rest of your embodiment. It will weigh for you everything upon its divine scale, allowing for complete distinction of truth from falsehood. One of the greatest falsehoods in all of life is the concept of gray area. It is not possible to exist in reality. Things are only true or false in reality. Has to be so. Mathematics of vibration. Deeply understand this. Once this is achieved, you will never be led astray again. You will always know when a book, conversation, or idea is leading you on the correct path. This voice is really yourself, the higher you that only knows your perfection. It knows only how to lead you home. It is incapable of error. That is the foundation you want to anchor to. It will supply the answers you need to ace the test and graduate from this classroom. The universe awaits for us to become a productive, eternally creative being of limitless potential. Thank you.